Welcome everybody to Mining Now. We are here live in Las Vegas at the Mine Expo 2024. And we've got a whole series of episodes that I'm sure you're all going to enjoy. And I'm really excited to bring you this one, which we're collaborating with Deswik. And we're joined today by Joanna Martyr. And we're going to unpack all kinds of things that are happening at Deswik and how they're scaling their operations worldwide. And we're also in the Sandvik booth here, quite the big setup. Welcome to the episode, Joanna. Look forward to the conversation.
Thank you.
So maybe we could start by just unpacking a little bit more about your role. What are your key areas of responsibilities, and how do things go in your day-to-day at Deswik?
So I look after the operational products. I'm the product line manager, so I look after what goes in and out of the product. So the operational products, what that is, it's products that are used by miners, basically. So from a mobile app for entering in your actuals, or even for shift planning and also weekly planning up to that space.
So all the easy stuff, right? Like working with all of the miners directly in the field and the frontline supervisors. You know, it's quite the challenge on some days, I'm sure.
It's very hard to make something easy, which is key, because you want, like, you're there to dig dirt. You're not really there to try and work out how to use an app. That's not the point.
Exactly. Exactly. So maybe what we could do is we can also unpack a little bit. There's a lot of people that are very, very familiar with Deswik, right? You guys have done a very good job at being at a lot of different mine sites, but there's still some that may not have an idea of who Deswik is and how you might be able to help. So maybe we can talk about that a little bit, about the mission of Deswik.
So it started as originally like doing mine planning and doing the scheduling and for basically as a company full of mining engineers who just wanted to make cool stuff, and they wanted to make software that worked for them. What the bit that I'm working in is the operational space, so it's slightly, we're like the odd stepchild of Deswik, if that makes sense. Okay. We're a bit different and going into dealing with the miners directly, like we talked about before.
And that's probably one of the big exciting things that's happening at Deswik right now, because I guess through the transition of your product line, it was very much like kind of back office intensive for planning and scheduling, and now you're involving the front line into the conversation. So,
well, and absolutely, like things. Let's be honest, the front line was left out a lot of technology for a long time. They were left with pen and paper and radios, and so they deserve some attention, and that's where all the focus is now. And so for Deswik, they recognise that they've got some great tools for the engineers and the geos and the surveyors, and now we want to like service and bring some of that information down so that you're not left like a mushroom without all the information you need. We wanted to make things so you look like a superhero with all the information in your pocket.
So something that I've also experienced is I completely transitioned from one career to the next, went from something that's completely unrelated to mining to now I'm holding a jackleg in my hands. And you've got a little bit of a similar story as well about your different backgrounds. So how did you get into designing these tools for the mining space and doing what you do?
So I worked in mining for quite a long time. I left for a period of time to, I have a degree in software as well as mining qualifications. I left and was running a software business that my dad made. And then I went back to mining because I kind of really love it. And when I went back, I was frustrated by technology. There was really cool tech, and I don't actually know why it was there, because it didn't actually make a difference. It was like really expensive and sat in the cupboard, or we would give tablets out to people and we didn't actually give them abilities or like things, like specific apps to use on it. We'd say, oh, you can just use Excel or SAP, or it is like, okay, no, we deserve better. Like, and there was a space, and so I ended up and did what any normal person would do in that situation, and started my own mining company, and then that was acquired by Deswik, and then Deswik was acquired by Sandvik, and like I mentioned before, it's cool because we get to build, like, I just want to solve problems for people. That's it. That's all I want to do. And so I just want to build things that with a purpose. Like, I don't want to build something that sits in the cupboard.
Yeah.
That's not fun for anyone. I want to build something that's actually going to make a difference to people.
And that's what happens, you know, like the best products are built from need. right? And
Yeah.
it's not a product in search of a problem.
Yes.
It's a
Yes.
product made for a specific problem. And I can agree with you as well, is like, having companies say we've got tablets or phones in the hands of everyone. And then
And
and then what, right?
Yeah.
What do they do? I don't know. It's there in their lunch pail, or it's in their,
Yeah.
so it's very good to have solutions in place with purpose,
Yes.
so that it's actually a tool that they're leveraging every single day, rather than just saying, I've got one. And it
Yeah.
kind of sounds cool.
And now I'm
right?
still using my payphone pen.
Exactly. No, that's an amazing story. And I guess, hey, that's why you're doing what you're doing today as well, because that care of attention and care custody of what's going on in the field adds a lot of value to the entire Deswik team.
It's just frustrating that it takes so long to build stuff because there's a big list. I think you relate to that too.
Every time you hear, what would be cool? It's like 9 months of development.
Yep.
Don't you guys just like type it in, right? No, that's amazing. Thanks for unpacking that, because it really adds to the amplification of what your role is as well within the ecosystem.
So we spent a small fortune on mesh and bolts. Lost the whole day. Mate, your cut's as crooked as cricket. Next time, just follow the survey plan. I followed the plan and none of the numbers lined up, so I had to work it all out myself. Do I look like a mathematician to you? I suppose I do, actually. Yeah, so I just eyeballed it and hooked it half a metre left. No, I mean, just use your laser. I did. I measured off the laser. Maybe you should be talking to those survey mating cranium about their laser lines. Just use your head. Mate, I'm like the God Squad with these headings. Just about had enough of you, Dan. Just go and eat some more pies. Just let me do my job. Just do us all a favour and go and get...
Hey, deep fried, using the wonky drill again, are we? Why don't you just use the Deswik app?
Just use... Hey?
Just use the Deswik app.
Yeah, just punch in the numbers, does all the maths for you. Follow the video, perfect every time, works offline and everything. Just joking, Dan. Jeez, don't be so sensitive.
Just use the Deswik app.
And then, you know what? So in my years in the mining space and supervising, and I've worked at almost every role
Yeah.
within the mining, and that's exactly it. Is that we're left there, and imagine like it's midnight on a night shift. Everybody that's there to support you is gone for the evening,
Yep.
and you've got to make some critical decisions with whatever information you have in your hand. And maybe the pile of paper that you got at the beginning of the shift fell in a puddle, and you don't have access to it. So I could see the definite value in gearing up the front line so that the decision-making process is a little bit more informed,
Yeah.
right? And that we don't have any shortcomings in between shifts, mostly in the scheduling part, So something that you hear a lot probably from the front line is that they don't understand what goes on in a day-to-day. It's chaotic. There's all kinds of things happening. We can't keep this schedule up, So maybe we can unpack on that. Have you seen some successes with the front line with that in that regard?
Definitely. So one of the apps that we made, one of the first apps that we made was a digital plot, so like data entry, and I don't like doing data entry, and I assume that most people don't.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to make sure that it did more than just that. And so we said, okay, if I'm an operator, what are the things that I need to do my job better? And we're like, right, I need a shift plan. I want to know what everyone else is doing because I don't work by myself. I want maps. I can go get maps, but they're often out of date or they're muddy, as you pointed out.
Yeah.
I want like a set of maps with me in my pocket. I want to know where everyone else is. I want to have a dashboard that has all the latest driving layouts. I want to have all the information I need with me, and then I can then make good decisions because I want to know, I want to be able to follow things. I want to know when the jumbo is pulling out of a heading so that I know that it's now ready for charging and I can get in there. Or I can say, oh, he's broken down. I'm going to go for lunch now. I want to know all that information, have all that in the pocket. And so the first site that I went to, we had the theory, like, let's make it cool. And the first site I went to after we built it, I went underground, and I think it was a night shift with the supervisor. And I think we'd been underground maybe 3 hours, and it got him out of trouble 5 times. It was like he could check what the day shift had done, where the cable water was. He was able to look up the map and go, well, have they taken that turnout cut yet or not? And it was really helpful. Like, it was really satisfying to see, okay, well, this is not just a theory, it actually makes a difference. And so, yeah, it definitely is what we saw straight up.
Oh, no, I mean, and it's resonating so hard because it's also a cultural transformation, if you will, because I mean, most digital transformations are a cultural transformation. But when you think about, the methodologies of produce at all costs, right? Because we need to get that production, and now we're shifting into produce at no cost, because now you're being a lot more efficient in your decision-making abilities, and you're putting equipment, people, and processes in order so that, yes, you may have won today, but if you tumble the next 4 shifts, nobody's winning, right?
Well, sometimes you're actually better off making a decision that doesn't win today. For example, I want to take this cut over that cut because the diamond drillers are going in there. And if we don't get the diamond drillers in there, then we're going to have stand down rates. And often it's not really clear to the person underground at night with these muddy map that why the certain decisions have been made. And we wanted to give them the tools to see, okay, I understand why we're doing this, and it's for the greater good, and I'm going to get my bonus because as a crew, we're going to perform better if this shift is not perfect, but I know we've made a good choice. So it's making that, having the information to do those good calls.
Right. And then sometimes those calls are very counterintuitive for the person that's in the field. Right? Like, what do you mean not doing this is going to get us ahead? I don't understand. I don't understand how parking this is going to make us win. So I'm sure you're getting a lot of that feedback as well.
No. So you think that, but because you have the information of understanding why, you don't get asked that question.
It makes sense. Perfect. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. So with all this all this development and all this, activity and everything that you're doing in the field now, what's the latest and greatest that Deswik has to offer, or things that we can look forward to as far as what's coming up the pipeline?
Yeah, so the latest thing that we've just released is a shift planning app. So basically we have the Deswik scheduling engine, and we've taken that out of Deswik Shed and we've put it into an app. That sounds scary, but it's kind of cool. So what that means is the supervisor just grabs the tablet and goes, I want to do these tasks, 1, 2, 3 at this location. Actually, we want to add a cleanup in there. And then they allocate equipment, allocate operators, and then the engine will run and automatically work everything out for you. So it's just it's simple as 1, 2, 3, add tasks, add equipment, add people, that's it. But then what you can do is you can actually then understand your plan. So let's pretend your development supervisor and your production supervisor has done their plan. You can actually press play and watch the plan animate on a map, on a tablet. So what that means is you can go, oh, hold on a second. He's planning on drilling a service hole there and there's only one power source. We have a problem. You can actually understand what's going on in multiple different ways, because supervisors are great at making decisions. They just need to have the right information available to them to do that. No,
that's amazing. And I mean, and in every solution you put in place, the key word is always scalability, right? Yeah. And I can see right now, having served as a scheduler as well for some time, the shift comes up and you say, we did this. It was so awesome. And I'm like, okay, I got 2 days of rescheduling to do. And then I guess you guys are solving that problem as well. It's like, no, it's not going to take 2 days.
It's going to automatically schedule. So often we create a weekly plan in mining, usually in Excel, because Excel's such a great scheduling tool. It's so good with dependencies, and when things move, it's so easy to move everything around.
Exactly.
And it's really good at communicating because you get to use colors and cell comments. It's awesome. So we have a dedicated scheduling tool for the weekly plan. And then what happens is that as the supervisor's adjusting, you record, you create your weekly plan, you lock it in and you say, this is what we agreed. And then it changes in pretty well straight away at some places. And so as that changes, the plan will live update and then reflect those changes. So you have what you thought was the plan, but you have a live plan that's instantly rolling. And then that goes through for each shift. So supervisor's job gets really easy. They actually get to do, I know this is a novel concept, supervise and have time and not try and be shift planning in Excel.
Hey, Deep Fried, you cut this angle drive? Don't think I'll be getting around there, bro. Did you measure across the face when you marked it up or something?
What are you talking about, man? I could swing a B-double through there.
You'd be lucky to swing a cat through there, cuz.
Yeah, nah, I'll give it here.
Stop, bro! You're scraping the sides, eh?
Yeah, nah, just gotta take it a touch wider, man.
Stop, bro, it's too tight, eh?
Yeah, nah, just gotta give it some shtick. Yeah, nah, cuz she doesn't fit, eh?
Just use the Deswik app, bro. Angle drive's done right, bro.
I would say that that's probably one of the most persistent complaints from a supervisor, because there's so much that ride on their performance, yeah, not only in productivity but in legal aspects, everything, and they want to make sure their crew is successful and goes home safely every day at the end of their shift. And when you get told, how come you weren't there to make the decision, and you're like, well, I'm filling out our Excel sheet on my laptop. Like, I can't be in two places at once. What do you want me to do?
And then then they get, if you don't perform, you feel bad. Like, how good is it when you do, as a crew or as a site, actually hit your targets and get your bonus, but do it safely.
Exactly. So maybe for people listening in, you've done a numerous amount of deployments now, and you've impacted a lot of different mining operations around the world. What would be the highlight item that you think would be most mine sites that we implemented didn't know X, or it uncovered X that they had no idea existed before, because now you've got this very clean product managing their day-to-day? Would there be something that sticks out like that?
It's the increase in production that you get by having a good schedule.
Right.
It's quite a lot, and you removing the inefficiencies. They generally will go, okay, we couldn't go back.
Yeah.
And like, how do we do this so hard? And it took so long. It's that disappears.
That's probably the aha moment. We're like, we didn't realize how many hours a week we were putting into doing this
Plan that no one followed because it was out of date the moment we printed it.
Yeah, and then all the costs with rework and redistribution of personnel and so on, right? So what can we expect in Deswik for the next little while? I mean, there's been a tremendous amount of energy with Deswik, especially with, like, even here just being in a Sandvik booth, integrated into the Sandvik ecosystem. I'm sure there's a lot of energy into bringing new solutions to the field as well.
Yeah, so I guess the Sandvik acquisition of Deswik was 2 and a bit years ago now. We still run as our own company, and we're still OEM agnostic. We're not tied to Sandvik, but we get to play with cooler toys, and we get to, in integrating the Sandvik solutions into the products is obviously a great benefit from it. But it's still, Deswik very much runs like Deswik.
Yeah. And I think that from a technology buff like we are, that's what's most important as well, is that you've got the qualified personnel to really make this product amazing, and continue to make it amazing, right? So having that structure is super important. So that's great to hear that. Yeah. It's very, very good. So as far as an invitation for the audience that are tuning in that may have not heard of Deswik, or they're on the fence of Deswik, or they're probably 6 months into the negotiations with Deswik, because we know how that goes. What would be the invitation for them to take on the challenge and unpack things with you?
So Deswik's obviously, like, it's very active in the mine planning space. I'm actually going to challenge them to look at the operational products. A little bit biased, obviously, but have a look at what we have in the operational space. It's come a long way in the last few years, and we're certainly got the roadmap and everything that we're doing is pretty exciting, and we're getting like great results. So come and have a look at the operations.
Very good. And what I can speak to firsthand is open up the ideas of including the front line. It will change your world. I mean, I could speak to it. I mean, it's such a passionate subject for me as well. Being there, it's like these are the people that you rely on to deliver your day to day,
Yeah,
including in a conversation.
mining engineers aren't actually doing the mining. We rely on the miners to do it, and if we give them the right information and everything to be able to do it, they actually do a really good job.
Well, Joanna, it's been a great experience unpacking the world of Deswik with you and understanding a little bit more about how the front line can be included into the conversation when it comes to scheduling, which is not necessarily top of mind for everyone. So thanks for sharing with that.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and for everybody listening in, I hope that you've now got either a solidified story of why Deswik applies to you, or maybe a new one where you want to reach out to Deswik. So you'll be able to contact Deswik with the links below, with Joanna's LinkedIn, as well as the website information. You'll see everybody below. And we hope that everybody continues to have a great show at in Las Vegas here at the Mine Expo. And look forward to your comments and feedback from all the information you received today.